Molweni sanibonani dumelang. Welcome to Property Market Moves. I am your host, Kululwa Mutwa, and today I'm sitting with Brian Mpono.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
And somewhere in the world, it's good morning.
It's good morning.
But
Or
here, because
elsewhere,
we are
good
in
evening.
South Africa,
Yeah.
it's good afternoon.
It's good afternoon.
Good evening to some, good morning to others.
Yeah.
But yeah.
How are you
Thank you
doing?
for having me.
Thank you for coming.
Oh, it was, I'm here to
We've been looking forward to this conversation.
for quite some time. And no better time like the present. Thank you. Thank you for seeing it fit that I occupy this chair and, share some tidbits and notes and foresight.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, in this podcast, we really aim to empower, to educate, and to inspire our listenership, whether they're in property or even pursuing other business ventures.
Absolutely.
And that is exactly what we're going to be doing in this chat.
No pressure.
So we know Brian as the CEO of Oceans Umhlanga, but tell us more. Who is Brian Mpono?
Oh, Brian Mpono is a humble servant of the business fraternity.
Yeah.
Of course, those who know, I'm from a small town called Cedarville.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a small dorpie,
Yeah.
as Afrikaners would say.
Yeah.
Between Kokstad and Matatia. On the famous, if you are from Eastern Cape,
Yeah.
the famous R66. Not the one in America, of course. But it's akin to, because it has the between, or should I say, between Kokstad and the mountainous hills of Mount Fletcher and the bordering Lesotho mountains.
Yeah.
That overlook, the eastern part, if I'm not mistaken, of Eastern Cape. It leans itself towards, Route 66, as it were. So that's where I'm from, ancestrally, if I can say so. The Mpono clan that I come from is from Mount Fletcher.
Yeah.
Which is further inland towards, the border of Lesotho.
Yeah.
But my grandfather moved to Cedarville. At the time, it was a real dorpie because you can literally walk the entire dorpie in under 3 hours. That's that in the true sense of a dorpie. But my mom came to Durban in 1970 in seek of employment.
Yeah.
And then sometime in the 70s, met my dad. And my dad
they made magic.
My dad had a bit of a silver tongue. And I'm the result of that.
Okay.
In 1983. So, and the position of my mom, of course, is what this is the result of my mom's position back then.
Sure.
And I say that with the utmost humility, because all of us, there's somebody who had to forego or who had to assume a level of sacrifice for us to, be present and make a success of ourselves. Because I was born when my mom was a housekeeper to a white family.
Okay.
In the 80s. Now, why I say her position allowed me to be the Brian that is respected and adored, the world over, is because I had a firm base and upbringing. I was born into white culture.
Okay.
At the height, super height of apartheid. But nevertheless, they say when grace locates you, it breaks protocol. And that is exactly what happened. From an early age, from the time I was born, the nurse that took care of me in my mom's illness, because I'm told I was a premature baby, I don't know. But no, I was born on time, but I was ill.
Okay.
Shortly after. And the nurse that took care of me was the daughter of where my mom was employed as a housekeeper.
Okay.
As I say, positioning. Jump a couple of years, I went to, fortunate to go to like preschools and primary schools.
Yeah.
And there was a time where I got exposed to the other color of who I am, which is black. And that's when my dad he said, no, I'm taking over now. And my mom, coming from an era born 60s, that era, 80,
Yeah.
whether the father is a migrant labourer at Anglo or at Harmony Gold, it comes back twice a year. So bab, wabantwana bam, that ingrown respect with ubaba.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as he took over and my mom took a step back, and that's where I got to learn and be exposed to the hard knocks of life. Lokshini. Contrary to some, I know if this part of the podcast is, they'll be like, Brian, man,
yeah.
Because they see what they see. And truth be told, I do believe there's an element of that's what makes me so humble. Or that's how my humility is kept. That I have an ear and a heart and compassion for those less fortunate than I am. Jengangu, you see.
Yeah.
Because I know there hasn't been. I've experienced using sunlight bar soap as you roll on. How so? It is so. And because of no electricity, during summer, ufaka amanzi kwi-Vascom. And I know you know the term Vascom because now no closer now.
Yeah.
Ufaka amanzi kwi-Vascom. Wabeke phaa elangeni. Yeah, phaa elangeni.
To
just
heat up a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Then busuyahlamba. And because uhlala ku-4-room or uhlala kumjondolo, uzohlambela emva kwendlu. Ebusuku, the day before, uzahlamba thoroughly. But ekuseni, when you go to work or to school, in my case, uzojila emva kwendlu.
Yeah.
Uhlambe.
To get a little privacy.
Of course. I come from that.
And so how do you then, from all of that, because I realize that someone who's listening, right, and they are stuck there, or even worse, and they cannot imagine a time where they will become, the Brian Mpono that you are now, right? Whatever their name is, right? And so what are these moments that you did not recognize in your journey that you believe as you look back on them, that those were, the divine moments that shaped your career and the person that you have become?
I wanna let's call it, when it's happening, you see, or should I say this? And funny enough, just yesterday at church, the topic and the content came about Wuti. We all have a promise, or it's built in us.
Yeah,
a promise. Sonke sinayo, but the challenge is that nowhere is it written. Wuti a process gay.
How is it? What is it going to look like? Yeah.
Nobody has a blueprint of the process. My pastor, Pastor Musa Mhlung, House of Destiny Family Church, I always hold on to a lot of nuggets he shares. The one that stands out that is so relevant in this context that we're talking about now is the future is in the foundation. And I'm deliberately painting a picture of the hardships of my growing up.
Yeah.
As opposed to the side that and of course, growing up in that environment was Brian had it almost.
Yeah.
Hence I jumped to the part where no, my dad entered stage left and said no. And being a father born in the 60s as well. Sorry, mid 50s. My apologies. Basically late 50s, between 55 and 59. So that era of abazali, or rather the fathers, came a point in time where all my kids.
Yeah.
That
does not matter. Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, okay, so let's be conservative. 7 times out of 10, it's not your biological mom. It's auntie. Yes.
Yeah.
So, okay, environment. Now, they were, I remember there's, but he took our Samakaya and faka khonapho. Now, sonke, we are born from 3 different mothers.
And you live in one household.
And auntie, as I used to call her.
Yeah.
But why is this your mom? We are respectfully.
Yeah.
Yeah, because why? There's this whiteness in you. No, my mom. I'll say auntie to respect. Because I didn't understand the concept of mama. That mama.
Yeah.
We are Bila. Hang on.
Yeah.
So, in that environment, as kids, obviously we have different chapters, but the narrative is now you must live with everybody. And ordinarily you semi-only child, which I was. I'm in this situation, and I used sport to overcome the challenges that I'd face as a young boy, because dad would come and go because he's working.
Yeah.
Respectfully. And he was. Fine, I had a different opinion in his parental structure. Goba aba, I know them basuka kumamkhulu.
Yeah.
Emchadweni. Kwamasabalala, that's fine. Kodwa khona abanye ngoku
who are just creeping out.
Who are not dead.
Yeah.
But they are here now. Namdi khona. And bekubuye kube khona some animosity for reasons, because we come from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
So ezo zimo, when I look back, I'm like, oh man, like klamele vaskumi.
Yeah.
Ukusebenzisa sunlight baso.
Sure, as you roll on.
What roll on. Iphinde ihlambe at the time, I don't know if you know, but kwakhona lembe kuthiwa student prince. Ethengwa pep. Those who are watching know. Ethengwa pep. Kwakuliwena hembe mhlophe nokho. If I were 40, sell his house.
Yeah.
Cars. And at the time, BGs.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, pep. It's close. Pep. So, back to what you're saying is a young child who's listening, exposed to such hardships, only born to 2 rand, you would hold on to it for dear life. Because at the end of the week, it was away 10 rand. Then on Saturday, oh my gosh. Or you deprive yourself of Nazi 2 rand born green. Touches on 2 slices of brown bread.
Yeah.
Touching my slices of tomato, fake, uthathe banana, fake, bambele 2 rand. Come Friday, it's now 10 rand.
Yeah.
But like, manigcina. Phinde futhi 2 rand.
Yeah.
So we 20. This is 90s.
Yeah.
Oh my. And you go and buy the Chelsea. Mine was a Chelsea bun. That was my thing.
Ooh.
From Chelsea bun.
So now
So this kid.
Yeah.
Won't know. Me jonga mnati. Oh, figure Brian.
Yeah.
Guess what? I didn't know that. But what saw me through was getting involved in being busy in activities like sport, like just getting busy. And some of the schools I went to, Durban Primary in Reservoir Hills, and also Wingan Heights, Marion Ridge, are all schools. When you look at me now, like, sorry, where did you go?
Yeah.
Okay, say one about Marion Ridge. Those from Devon know. It's ghetto. Like, and I'm not afraid to say it. Of the people who go there. Back then, I don't know now, but obviously I'm from Marion. They're like, ooh, child. It's that type of school. But now, so low OT, yeah, but no, just do one thing for whatever it is. Show up. I won't give you tools and tricks of trade. Just show up. Just harness a attitude and a mentality. Eti dilapha ngoku. And dilapha and kusasa dizoba kwenye indawo. That's fine. But just show up.
Yeah.
Show up. Have an attitude. Align it. Eti. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow and tomorrow. Qina apha ezincwadini. Qina ekumameleni umzali.
Yeah.
Uyasela, uyachaya. I don't care. But just hold on to those, Try to know. Umngani othize. Be careful of that type of friend.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
For what it's worth, if you are listening to me and you happen to be watching, or you'll watch this podcast.
Yeah.
I know you say kodwa, it's fine. I also heard a kodwa now. But you are saying, Brian, okay, yeah. Hence, I'm laboring on the point of, I used to wash in a Evascom with sunlight soap until it disappears. Then it becomes a roll-on. And
you'll even get those small bits and you put them together.
What you do is put them in water, and it becomes roll-on.
Yeah.
Isonka usehlise ngeti. Not Rebos. No, not Rebos. Trinko. Or Ijoko.
Yeah.
Or it's this instant. But neswegeri yakhona ke uthi. Egameni nje,
You don't just go to town.
Honey.
What is that?
You rather go
past look for some bees.
Yes. Honey, no. So that's why I'm laboring on the point. Less and light.
Yeah.
Because I know people, the next time they're in Pick and Pay, Spa or Checkers, when they see Sunday, they go, here's a brand. So we always hear about, for instance, the success of Vivian Reddy. But they don't know
the process of
the last
becoming.
Born of 9 children. They grew up umjondolo. Vivian Reddy is the illustrious billionaire. That's how he grew up. But when he said black, Vivian, what did they say? Zuma's friend, Cyril's friend, Mandela's friend. He grew to have those relationships. The same way I'm in that process. Thankfully, my proximity to him, by virtue of being in his employ across his family businesses, have afforded me pride and place with prominent figures of society, business, churches, communities, across the board. And mind you, if you allow me to say, to my fortune, pride and place at Cyber, to be keynote, and to have a podcast time to say, no, man, Mpono, let's have an hour chat. Man.
Yeah.
There's depth, and you are so young, but there's so much depth in you. So I'm mindful as I'm sharing, not to highlight the highs, but because I know there are more of those who are coming through, who are living, at a certain level above the poverty line, some below, who will have that data and will go on Instagram and will have an aspiration to be involved in property at some point in their life, who will watch the podcast. So my point of departure and my compassion in having this a conversation is that forget the bright lights and the shiny clothes, which is why, in fact, I'm not even wearing a suit, because the umuntu at resonate.
Yeah.
Angathi, I want a person to really, say, wow, okay, yes, my situation is X, but tomorrow will be Y and the next day will be Z.
Yeah.
That's the end goal. Which in a process, you don't just become a growth point properties overnight. You don't just become, more closer to home, a Motsing investment holding. You don't. You don't just become that. There's a lot of the harder the process or the harder the situations that you face, try by all means to have just a silver line. Surely, if I'm going through this, I know
something big
is coming,
is ahead. Yeah.
But you don't think that just like me, I never thought in a million years that I would be frontline and center in charge of someone else's vision, i.e. Vivian Reddy and his partner's dream, or his family for that matter.
Yeah.
Ukuthi ndiqhube ivision yakhe and represent his interest, not just in KZN, South Africa, across the continent. I didn't know, but the basis of that is showing up, having a resilient spirit and attitude. 85 namhlanje yanetha kulungile, and having a resilient attitude. Dizawuthi ngoba by age ngusisi wami, but having a resilient attitude, yo mama Bino, who would be a gogo to me. 80 babathi ngesitswana musadu tshwara thipa ka bogale. But there's not in marriage only. That must apply in life. Because life will throw izinto kuwe, and the mercy or the knife tshwanetse o itshwarele ka bogale. Hayi ku marriage kuphela, life in general. Because a core script, God will tell just believe in me, or whichever God you believe in, and what that God says to you, what you live by. Hindi, Islam, Shembe, Likhanyana, I don't care. Methodist, I don't care. But at some point, we all meet where we say, Uko God. How you get there, that's your baby. But in whatever lane you are traveling towards that deity in whom you believe in, be consistent. Because after all, beyond the nyam, you have to deal with self.
Yeah.
Before you want to wear the suit and the suit and tie and a corner office with, with an aircon and have a helipad on the rooftop. be a palm tree. A palm tree is probably the only tree that bends with the force of wind and gale force. Ithi xa seyidlulile ibuye ime. Or a bamboo, which you see nothing for some time, but all of a sudden, when that bamboo sprouts and says, "Here I am," oh my gosh, it stands tall. Like, also iba nabantu ubasaba.
Yeah.
Have certain people that you are accountable to. So have certain people that you can be accountable to. One person.
Yeah.
Because you might say, ekhaya kunjani. Okay, fine. But iba nomuntu uzothi ufunda uzothini. Have that person or persons. 2, just stay grounded spiritually. Deal with self. Then the universe will orchestrate things in your favor because usu right. That's what I can say to Lord. Just hold on to that. Appreciate the hardships. I know it sounds a little bit but they appreciate the hardships.
Because they teach you something.
But the funny thing is, when you are writing the test,
okay, so you've said show up.
Yes.
Have be resilient.
Yes.
And have people that you fear, or people that hold you accountable, rather, in your journey.
Yes.
Okay, now, and you've touched on this in some to some extent, especially in a property environment, right? We know that it is capital intensive. It is time. It requires a lot of time to actually put together an ocean's Umhlanga, even before you break ground. So in life, generally, there are so many limitations that we will give, as a reason why we can't do this or that. To someone, it could be, I don't have qualifications, therefore I can never be, I don't have money, therefore I can never do, I don't have parents, therefore I can never, are there true limitations in life or just perceived limitations?
In the day and age we live in now, you can't afford to say, I don't have. Full stop. I won't give a philosophical answer, which is what probably, the audience is like, so receive. No, I don't. Get rid of I don't, I can't. As little as I don't have a pen to sign this document. Find one. I don't, find a way. It's and my silence in between, I want it to be loud because I want at this part of our convo for someone to pause and be like, actually, that's the moment I'm trying to invoke. When I say you cannot afford to have the words, I don't,
I can't, I'm not.
Simple. What follows in that sentence or in that statement, it's immaterial because your point of departure will determine the result of what the intent or what the content of that statement or question or conversation.
Yeah.
Brian, so tell us, can you package another Oceans Umhlanga? I can't. Is it possible to do another Oceans Umhlanga? I don't. But, Brian, so tell us about your experience in the limitations at Oceans Umhlanga that were set before.
Yeah.
Or that were even set before you arrived on the scene. Because for Oceans, we realized it was in Vivian Reddy's head that one day he wants to do X, Y, Z. In his head. Now he had to fight things here. But because of the character and the man who he is, Ega never dares or never dies. Ega, there's always a way.
Yeah.
Ega, persistence prevails when all else fails. I posted it last week on my Instagram. And I posted your early days of the piling on the Oceans Umhlanga side. In the background, there was fire, boy. Like hectic. But there was machines on site. There were cranes blaring in the air. At one stage, I think there were 8 on the ocean site alone. Now, before a crane goes up, those who understand civil and engineering construction understand the depth. Physically, yes, but what goes into that structure going up?
Yeah.
Of the crane. Then all these bobcats, excavators, TLPs, and all of them coming together. All of that was in his head. Now imagine to a weird, but you Edison Power property.
Yeah.
But because he had an aspiration to just be an illustrious business person. One time we had a company that was printing polymer banknotes for an Australian company or New Zealand company of a person whom we met at the airport. So what do you do? Oh, this water. Oh, okay. This is your company, yes. So, you have you're a Valpre. Oh, you're an Aqua. Yes, I am. So what if we were to take this water and that's how he thinks.
Yeah.
He has a sponge brain. Anything I can come across a business opportunity at any given time. But ilele attitude yami 80. And for those who are very much spiritually inclined than us, the blessing of God can come from any direction, from any person. Imana was then. Yeah, then. Now we live in another
comes
era. In the form of a person. Your destiny helper is a human being. Now, if you're not aligned, forget about your family background and where you stay. When a self, if there isn't at least 10% of Yazmina, I'm going to do great things. If you don't have just 10% of that, is a bus stopping. Because you're not sure would we are a Soweto or we are a Guatem.
Yeah.
If you pass it by Guatem, but now you're like,
you can't jump on.
Oh, because
you don't know where you're going.
Ausas, usually bus. Come get Soweto. And then you're like, oh, here's a bus. When you get there, I'm in unfamiliar territory. Okay, fine. For money, pay rent 300 per month. Make do with the situation. But my point is, limitations.
Yeah.
They are what you make of them.
Now, you've spoken about, the process, right? Of
mentally. Before someone chops my hair with this, but Brian, and gets out their pen and no. Here.
Yeah.
You conquer mind first.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there's limitations. You don't just build 4.3 billion rand of development with no limitations. With Sorry, there are challenges.
Yes.
Not limitations.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, I was looking in the back of my English dictionary. Sorry, let's circle back. There will always
there
be
will
challenges.
be challenges.
Definitely true. The greater the vision, the greater the challenges. New levels will bring new devils.
Yeah.
But limitations, that's what you make of it. Go look in the dictionary.
Okay. Now, and glad that you jumped in with that, because I think my next was, and someone now listening and they're like, okay, I can imagine that there would be, that process in getting this development, off the ground. But you are talking about a Vivian Reddy, that you've already said, is a billionaire, is friends to this person and that prominent person. And therefore, my situation can never be, compared to that, because he has access to resources. He has access to this and that. And now going back to the Cyber Convention, where you spoke about, finding value in yourself, that there will always be value that you bring to the table, even if you don't have money, even if you don't have the certificates. What could that be? For someone who's listening, what was the value that Brian Mpono was to be in an environment where he now interacts with a Vivian Reddy and has access to his network to be rolling out his vision?
It's a mentality that says, what's the job to be done? It's as simple as that. What is the job that needs to be done?
Yeah.
Assume role and execute.
To my mean.
Again, I'm gonna sprinkle a bit of humor and say they're waiting for this very
big,
eclectic response from me right now. Aiko. What is the job that needs to be done? What are the tasks or tasks that need to be executed? Assume role and execute.
Yeah.
Out there in the big world, big people like Vivian, Sisa Ngebulana, the late Richard Maponya.
Yeah.
I can name a list of strong pillars of black business economy who stand tall head and shoulders, not because of their balance sheet, but because of that resilient, I don't care how, I don't care where, but it's going to be done, because we have people who are expectant of people like us to deliver, because in our delivery, there's job creation, there's black business empowerment, there's an increase in infrastructure, which bodes well for an economy that is always hungry for a strong tax base, which then equates to roads being built, infrastructure being upkept by municipality, by government. It's that vision, so long as that unemployment figure is where it is and not in single figures, we got work to do. That's the level you approach anything in life. And believe you me, the universe orchestrates and will equip you somehow, because you've taken on this role, for so long as I see people on the side of the street begging for whatever cause or purpose. Oh, shucks, we got work to do. And all these resources that people always talk about, they didn't just happen. There was a mind trajectory in his head that said, if not this way, I'll find a way. And you know how it started? It was one day at a company where he was this great electrician, and clearly he had a knack for abantu. Because on weekends during the school days, he'd work with his father, the late Mr. K.P. Reddy.
Yeah.
And go to schools, collect money, and do renovations at schools, and do odds and ends at schools with his father back then. So that got embedded in him. In what I do, in whatever produce that I produce, a certain amount must go towards the greater good because I'm chosen. It's a simple mentality. And his life's work, that's there in the background. Some instances, even in the forefront of his illustrious business career. So in that journey of what can I do? How can I help? And his mentality of, if I have so much, I must make sure. And because he had that mentality, things orchestrated in his direction. Fine, your controversist will say, but him and Nelson Mandela. But someone took his hand and said, come meet Nelson.
Yeah.
Or rather, the late Nelson Mandela said, what work is this guy doing? I want to meet him. In essence, that's how his career took off. Now, back to the story about when he was an electrician. It was a year-end party, and he was cognizant that he is employee of the year, employee of the month, and hit sales targets because of a collective of people.
Yeah.
But now, because of the time that they were living in, this collective, because of their color, was told Yanpa and Tina. Like, no. Hey, Zani, no, we must all. It's because of them that we're doing well. Monday got fired.
Sure.
For opening the door to
this color.
Yes. What do I know, you're fired? And you know what he said? He said, one day I'll own the biggest electrical company in the country. One day, the exact words, one day apartheid will be over, and I'll own the biggest electrical company in the country and employ people like that because they will be my success. This year, Edison is 46 years old.
Sure.
Testament to that type of mentality. That didn't mean much to those around him.
They probably were like,
this guy, who does he think he is?
What is he smoking?
What is he smoking? And what happened? He got borrowed a bucky, 500 rand in his pocket, and he built Edison Power Group, which gave birth to other things. Casino business, property right now, because he's in a legacy phase where he's building for. Remember what I said at the conference?
Yeah.
We will live in the future we build today. So in the future, because of Ocean's Umhlanga, it's given platform and it's given platform and presence to court international interest, because we've got Gucci, we've got D&G, Gucci, Burberry, Jimmy Choo, Maxhosa. Okay, mine is Maxhosa because it's homegrown, but the international guy who came to the seashores of Durban because of one man who said one day the city of Durban is going to reach a level where it's going to have to meet and cater for a market that is appealing to international fashion. There. Bamhleka. So hence why there's a difference between limitations and challenges.
Yeah.
And all it is, because the audience might be waiting for, what? No, he's going to drop. No.
It's in the small things. It's in the basics.
Get rid of I can't. Get rid of it can't be done. That's how you survive in the orbit of people like Vivian Reddy. Do not have a mentality, AT. Yeah, but don't have excuses, bring solutions. Which, invites, the next part of your question would be, how did you get now to be exposed? It's there. Don't bring excuses. If you come encounter a problem, don't bring the problem to him, because he doesn't employ you to tell him what the problem is.
Yeah.
He employs you
to find a solution.
Execute. Yes. And in your execution, when there are challenges,
solve
it. And for your 9 to 5s, that's why I pay you for 8 hours of your time to do what I can't do physically. Not that I can't, but it's practically impossible. That's why you're there. You're an extension of me. So whatever you do in that 8 hours, just know that in whatever organization you are, you have what's the word? You have an obligation. Would go 8 hours. You execute on tasks. Yes, sometimes you fall short, but high level.
Sure.
So there's no big jargon words that I'm going to use.
Yeah.
Just structure your vocab. Throw out negativity.
I actually love the simplicity, right? Because I think a lot of the times we get stuck in looking for the big thing, looking for the big answer, for the big innovation, for the big moment. And yet it's in the simpler things, it's in the basics, it's where we find, this innovation that we're looking for. You found it and you're still looking for it because it is not big. It's not like a wow when you tell people about it, or the answer, because it's not big as we would imagine it. And we keep missing, the small things.
So this morning, every morning he sends us a message. The entire stuff.
Yeah.
So this morning, and true to what we're talking about today, it says, laziness kills ambition, anger kills wisdom, fear kills dreams, ego kills growth, jealousy kills peace, and the last one is doubt kills confidence.
Sure.
And it's only when I went back a second time, the very last line says, now read that from right to left. So starting from the bottom, confidence kills doubt. Peace kills jealousy. Growth kills ego. Dreams kills fear. Wisdom kills anger. And ambition will always kill laziness.
Ambition kills laziness. Sure. You know how much time can go by and you're just sitting in front of the TV, and at the end of the day, you said you don't have time to do the things that you actually want to do.
And
ambition is what is lacking. Okay, to that young boy who is from that small town, or young girl, who is in that small town, and they are really in the middle of it. This history that you come from, this history that big giants, come from, because everyone who's standing in the mountaintop has a massive story, to tell of struggle, of hardship, of how difficult it was to climb that mountain until they get to where they are. And maybe they're still facing challenges that no one can imagine, because, you Brian, you Vivian, right? But to that young girl or boy who's sitting there, what would you tell them now? And I know you've mentioned it, but I want now to talk to that boy and young girl and say, look, you there, but
for as long as the sun comes out and sets every day, for as long as you breathe air, show up. No 2 days are ever the same. No 2 days are ever the same. Show up.
All right.
I can never put myself and begin to understand imego that young girl or that young boy is in, I can never begin to say, I can imagine. No, I can't.
Yeah.
Chapter yak. It's their chapter, not mine. I can relate.
Yeah.
But I can't. But the simple, I can't say, Iyakubani, do this. If you take this water and you put sugar in it, it will become glucose. Or if you take Coke and you mix it with milk, you have something some sort of kind of milkshakey.
Yeah.
Because of the color. I can't. And it was.
Show up.
Just vuka ekuseni.
Sure. As long as the sun rises, show up.
Vuka.
And no 2 days are the same. I love that. Yesterday was terrible, but that doesn't mean that today has to be.
I want to use, I want to be verbose and use, Oxford English.
Yeah.
But it's not practical. Oxford English has a time and place. Here, and the beauty about a podcast is that you are digging at the essence of a subject and you are invoking depth in your guest who would tell us about this. In a podcast, you don't want... No, there's not a pitch for a job or a project. Yes, in the context of property, because of cyber and whatnot, but the essence of such a podcast, it sigwazi from this property development.
Yeah.
And the achievements it has achieved. Listen, I'm only that in Oceans Umhlanga. Yes, to a CEO. Fine. But I'm that. There are a lot of moving parts in 4.3 billion rand of development. The orchestration of all of them working in tandem, some working parallel, some working 5 years down the line.
Yeah.
But preparedness is being done now. In 3 years' time, this is what's going to happen. If anything, if it does come up in one of your questions, that's the beauty about being in a property environment, that you're doing things and tasks and things now that you're like, but Lento, can we not do? No. It must be done now. You don't do anything without a spluma.
Yeah.
Befriend the builder, the building inspector, because you're not going to get that OC. For those who are not in property or civil, an OC is an occupation certificate. You won't get it.
Yeah.
When I say befriend, I don't mean...
You're not saying get them a drink.
No. Don't give them a brown envelope or drink. What I'm saying is befriend them. They are part of the greater good of your stakeholder hierarchy. The ingenuity of Mr. Reddy is his ability to bring together pieces of the puzzle and allow those pieces to find their way. Piece, whom do I need to connect to? Understand?
Yeah.
And then end. That's all. Now, if you wait and say, Kodwa, aphelile amanzi. Dig a borehole, for goodness sake.
Yeah.
Tell me about the water crisis. Put up a Jojo tank. Drill a borehole. Not dig, sorry. Someone's correcting me. I can feel it. Dig a borehole. We were supposed to meet some 2-3 weeks ago because I ran into a bit of a challenge.
Yeah.
And I insisted, you're traveling, ubuya. I'll be back on the 14th. Must be 14th.
Yeah.
There's intent. Why? Because you are affording me time and presence and exposure.
Yeah.
Because there are thousands of people who go onto your IG, who go onto your website, who go onto your platforms, who want to know. Now, if you saw fit that I have wisdom and knowledge and whatever it is that you saw,
yeah,
you
that
and
you
the
can share
president
with
and
them.
the greater good of cyber,
Yeah.
whatever it is that you saw, let me not say, I'm busy. What? I'd be going against my philosophy that says, I don't work 9 to 5. I serve. So now I'm busy. Oh, no. Make time. No one is ever too busy. They just don't make time.
Man.
Nobody.
Sure.
Or rather, time and place doesn't permit that particular time. But no one is ever busy for anything.
We make time for the things that matter to us.
Further to that, we make time for things that we are called to. Because sometimes you might phone me in Jan and I might have an opening in a time.
Yeah.
In February.
Yeah.
For whatever reason. But it's incumbent on you to make me understand what le value, the other point you're raising, the value that I bring to.
Yeah.
Le value leonayo iyafuneka now ukuthi ndinike indlela. So when you sit on your laurels and be like, I try to get a hold of you, can't find you, you're a difficult person to get a hold of. No, as an excuse. Clearly, your VP, your value prop, is not in line with where I am now. So that's why a light's not coming up. I didn't know that I was due for an invitation here.
Yeah.
In passing, I think it was with the president. Hey, man, these podcasts, man, yes, I like them. Do you think I could contribute? And then the president said, well, funny enough, actually, after Women's Month, you were on the list of people
that we want to talk to.
Yes. Funny that. Do you understand? Why? Because, and I said so at the conference or at the convention.
Yeah.
President, CEO, my hand is up. 90% of that hand being up is not about money or access to it, but it's just to share in depth. But I know suka happy. Yes, yabona umhlanga esentini. Kodwa usuka happy.
Yeah.
Because the 90% of the people that we are trying to change or bring about some form of development,
they care about your journey.
But
not where you are.
No.
How did you get there? Tell us.
And what brick walls did you hit? And where were you denied? Work? Finance? Where? Tell us.
Yeah.
But they don't say it. Because normally in this platform, it's so easy to be like,
I've arrived.
The successes and CEO, MD. It's so easy to get caught there. And obviously, as a person asking, you'll allow because I'm sharing my story.
Yeah.
But in you, like, I hope it doesn't deprive us of where it started. Or that moment in time where he sat at the bus stop and realized it doesn't have a ramp. So when that bus comes, you don't know what you're going to do. And in an hour's time, you're writing a final paper that could make or break your career.
Yeah.
Tertiary or secondary. Tell us about that time. Because 90% of some of the people who watch, they run into that on a daily. The fact that I don't anymore doesn't make me better.
Yeah.
I have a different set of of challenges.
So as we close, and I know you've touched on it, but
Yes.
the guest that wrote the question did not know what we're going to be talking about or who we're going to be talking to.
Wow.
So the question then is, what are some of the leadership lessons that you have learned in your journey?
It's attitude, consistency,
Yep.
humility, being available, and having a determined mindset of executing on tasks. Just those 5.
Wow. Now, I enjoyed that conversation, and I am hoping that you sat through right to the end of this conversation and that you've picked up on the education, the empowerment, the inspiration that we meant for you to get. Whether you are in your property journey, you're starting out as a student, you've just started out in business, or you are already considering yourself as a large corporate, I am trusting that this was inspiring, this was educational, this was empowering for you. Share it with your community so that you do not learn on your own. Like and subscribe and follow our channel, because we have more and more guests, just like Brian, who are going to be coming through to educate, to empower, and to inspire you along your property journey. This is Property Market Moves. Thank you, Brian.
I want to take just one of those 5.
Yeah.
80. Consistency is proof of mastery. Because someone will say, what? Consistent? But I am. I am consistent.
Consistently doing what?
Consistency is proof of mastery. Mastery in what? So the mastery comes in
being consistent
in your craft, your trade.
Yeah.
So being consistent in it, you end up mastering it because you're so consistent that the what you call the velocity and your trajectory of I can, angenhluleke, zayenza, I'll complete, I will be a property developer, I will build low-cost housing, I will connect to developments like oceans, in that. And that's where the undercurrent of that is the other point, attitude. Those philosophers out there will always say, your attitude will determine your altitude. But it's a fact.
Yeah.
When a Boeing 737, or my favorite aircraft, A380 takes off, the fact that it gets to Dubai is determined by its altitude. Controlled by who? The pilot. So I've found simple things in life that just hit home, because the big jargon stuff and Oxford English wears off. Because at a certain day, ubuXhosa buyavela. Asekho isilungu. Usala nantoni? So I make it a point to simplify and just say things and point you at things that even on a bad day, you look at a Sunlight bar soap and be like, Brian.
Right.
Just that.
And you can look at that Sunlight bar soap and say, at least I have a Sunlight bar soap.
Do you get it?
That someone is looking down on.
I spoke about a bus and not having a rand to hop on the bus because for whatever reason, and you're going to write your final paper, or you're having to show up for an interview, or these, again, I'll labor on this. 90% of those who watch your platform for inspiration, for, kickstart, get going, vibe, can relate. Someone has missed an interview because whomever in the family didn't give them ishumi just to spite them. Obakazalwa ngutata, owakazalwa ngumama. You look there at office level, corporate level, check your family environment. Because that is where many downfalls happen before a person shows up in front of the
obstacles that they went through in their own home.
Hence I say, I don't care whether your dad is a drunkard or he's whatever. Don't abdicate his title of being your dad. He shows up or he doesn't show up. Don't abdicate. Don't take away the title yokuba ngutata, yokuba ngudad, yokuba ngufadher because of his behavioral patterns. Yeah, but my dad, no, don't. Why? Because when you do that, you are sowing seed for the same perpetual pattern in your loins of your kids. And it will be amplified because some of us will, well, sure, I don't know how true it is, but in life you oftentimes faced with challenges where you are at the counter paying for your parents' sins. I thought this was about property moves. Yes, it is. But my job, or rather, when I went into my upper room to say, Lord, what do I say? Yes, there's the questions, but this is going to stand beyond platforms forever and a time.
Yeah.
So there's no retakes. Yes, Jess will edit it, and make it nice and package it. But there's no, okay, Brian, come back for it. No, it's now. We postpone to the 14th for a reason.
And even if we do part 2, which we may, because there's just so much to share, it will not be this conversation.
No. Here is to align. We had a lovely killer convention in Durban. Everybody showed up, the city, you guys, myself, and people are like, yo, next year. So the challenge is to show up and say, let's remind people why we chose Brian as a keynote. And what gave rise to Cyber quality. No. There's something in him. So my solace is, Lord, what do you want me to say? Let's forget about the bright lights and the shiny suits and the pencil stripe shoes, suits and the Flosham shoes aside. Hence why I was hesitant. Must I put a coat on? But now because we're talking reality.
Yeah.
And phone daddy, he's in a suit.
That's why he's talking like that.
I want it to be realistic, real. So even when they forget some of the jargon, some of the expensive words, when they walk into a shop and
see a sunlight,
they'll be like, damn it, no. Pull up their socks. I say, do you know Brian? He used to use that as roll-on.
Yeah.
Do you know Brian? He used to save 2 rand a day so he could buy a Chelsea bun on Friday. That is what I want the takeaway to be. As you said, in closing, is to just get rid of the cream. Let's just focus in the middle. And I say, and I relate it to the family environment on purpose because most of your GBVs, as a result of a child that was neglected 20 years ago and wasn't given an opportunity to voice, to vent, to talk about feelings, and it's caught up. and wife or girlfriend or mother says something that
triggers.
Uva umuntu xa ehleli esiselini athi, hayibo, ndoda, what happened? Abamindlo kathi, yena mangazi bengenwe. Ithini loo nto? Bingenguye. Something triggered. And because it wasn't addressed, this is what you have. Because to be a success in the boardroom, you need to be sure that ekhaya. Don't talk to your father for 5 years. It's fine. But allow me to say this in Finnish, sukumoxutha ubukho bakhe ukuthi ungudadakho. Because that won't change. And the sixth key for leadership is forgiveness. Doesn't sound right.
Sure.
But it makes or breaks. So it makes or breaks these other 5. Because you walk around with a chip on your shoulder. Because udada, umama, ubuti,
they did this to me.
Nesilungu sakho sase St. Andrews. A boardroom. Something happens in the interview panel. You'll crack. With your cum laude degree, you'll crack because you didn't have a heart of forgiveness. And now it's catching up. And now you are wanting an arm of remorse because your submission or proposal to build a Cosmos City in Tema is being rejected because you forgot to submit a TCC, tax clearance certificate. Now you are wanting remorse, or you are wanting a favor, or you're wanting to be forgiven.
For missing that deadline.
Let's turn the clock back a bit. When your father knocked or sent you a message and said, Mtanam, for all the atrocities that I caused, kumamako, kubantwana bakokwenu, ndicela uxolo. Wathini wena? Ngixolela utata. Okay, uzawulala engalifumananga uxolo lwakho. You are right up there at Investec, or Growth Point, or PIC, or wherever. Kwenzeke into eyi-1 that will be breaking point.
Sure.
And because of that act of being given an opportunity to forgive, why? It all sounds abstract. But how do you get there, Brian? It's all these small things. Because they're the basis of what I stand on.
And as you said right at the beginning, it starts with you. All of these things come out of you.
Hayi lo neighbor lo ngapha kwefence. Lo.
Sure. I already closed it and we continued because, I mean, as you can hear, there's just so much to have in this conversation. So thank you for that closing, Brian.
Thank you for allowing me.
Absolutely.